so glad to see you. So, you wanted me to tell you those spooky stories that I had. We're gonna get to know each other a little bit tonight. Some of these are kind of sensitive, so if I cry, I apologize, but you know, it happens sometimes. Let me just scoot you a little closer. I feel like maybe we're not too friendly this evening. Come on, it's okay. Come on. Here we go. I guess I will start with my old house. So, from 2009 to 2012, I lived in a house that was built in the early 1800s. And it was the very first house that I ever had that I lived in alone for a while. I had a spouse, we weren't married, but close enough, and he was deployed. So when we first moved in, I moved in by myself. I set it all up, put all the furniture in, got all his stuff out of storage, and I had never lived by myself. So when I originally moved in, I thought, oh, you know, it's just new jitters, because I'd never been by myself, like I said. So for the first month and a half, I slept with all the lights on. I know that's stupid. Like, I have, and I'll talk about this. I've always experienced, maybe I'm going a little out of order here. Anyway, I'm not a stranger to the paranormal, but I'll go back to that. I've never been afraid of witchy woo-woo things, or however you want it. That's what my mom calls it, so that's why I call it that. And it's not the first time that I've experienced a ghost or a spirit or whatever, but that house was haunted. I have a couple of occasions that I can specifically tell you about, but mostly it was like gremlins. Like, stuff would just go missing, and you would find it in the weirdest, like, you knew you checked there, and you knew that it wasn't there, and it would just, like, the top of the refrigerator. I never put things on the top of the refrigerator. I'm too short to see them. So, and then, like, why would I put, like, a necklace up there, or a picture of something I was looking? You'd never find it if you stuck it up there. So I'm not really sure. I never really looked into the history of this house, but I probably should have. So the most jarring incident that I can think of is I spent a lot of time upstairs in the bedroom. I would be up there Netflixing, watching my computer, and he would be downstairs playing Call of Duty or whatever. I don't like to watch first-person shooters, so I didn't do that. I would go do my own thing, and then we would just, you know, come together at bedtime. Probably not the best way to have a relationship, which is probably why it's over. Anyway, at least I can laugh at it now. So I was up there doing my own thing, and I remember feeling really, really cold all of a sudden. And I was like, okay, that's kind of odd. So I grabbed another blanket, wasn't really paying attention, back to my book, and all of a sudden he comes running up the stairs, and he's like, what's wrong, and I was like, what are you talking about, what are you doing? And he goes, you just screamed my name. And I was like, no, like, I'm up here minding my own business, I didn't scream your name. And he goes, no, it sounded just like you gotta be, like, joking me. And I was like, no, I didn't, and I used his name, but I'm not gonna do that now. It's like, I didn't scream your name, like, nothing's wrong, I'm fine, like, what do you, and he was like, that was so, like, it was so real. He came up there, like, he booked up there like the house was on fire, and he said it was so clear. I never heard anything like that so clear, but I remember, so when you're laying on the bed, the stairs are directly out the door. wasn't anybody there. And I know that happened to me probably like 10 times or more, where I would hear something come running up the stairs. No one would ever be there. And then, I don't know, like I said, I probably should have looked into it a little bit more, but I don't know if it was like an addition, but the stairs, they had this really weird door. So you'd go up like, I don't remember because it's been a while, but like 6 steps, and there was like this barn door that shut, which was great because it helped to keep the dog out of the upstairs during the day and things like that. But that door, then you went up like 12 more steps to get upstairs. It was really weird, and it fit really funny. But there was one night that I was home alone. He was deployed again, and that door slammed itself shut. Now, there was a window when you got all the way down the steps on the left side, but I could never get the window open. So it wasn't some kind of draft, and there wasn't anybody there. All the doors were locked. A couple weeks after that, it did it again, and I couldn't get out. And it had the weirdest little, like, it was real narrow and real skinny knob on it, and I couldn't get it open. So I was trapped upstairs. There wasn't anybody to help me, even if there was somebody downstairs, but I couldn't, like, I was banging on the door and couldn't get it open. And I think I almost called like my family for help because they had keys they could get in to get me. And then I was like, okay, like, whatever you are, whatever you want, like, just leave me alone. Like, I'm not, if you want me to leave, I'll leave. Because at that point I started to feel like it was kind of benevolent, even though I didn't know why. So I was like, okay, okay. And so I went back upstairs, and I'm minding my own business, and I just really hoped that I could get out of the staircase later on. Luckily, there's a bathroom upstairs, so I wasn't too worried. Later on, probably about an hour and a half later, I went down to try it again, because I was like, okay, like, it's getting dark out, gotta take the dog out, we have to make sure that I can get out of here so that I don't have to call anybody for help. And it opened like a breeze, like somebody greased it. So yeah, I was pretty thankful not to live there anymore. I'm gonna backtrack a little. I always saw things as a kid that other people didn't see. I remember seeing people that my sister didn't see, that my mom didn't acknowledge, and I don't remember, like, they weren't see-through or anything like that, but I do remember bringing it up a couple of times and my, being brushed off about it because they couldn't see them, or I was too young to realize what I was actually seeing. I'm a firm believer that children are more sensitive than adults as far as things like this go. But I don't recall when it stopped happening, because clearly it must have. Now I don't see things, I hear things, and I sense things that other people don't sense, but not all the time. And sometimes it's not as clear, like, it's not like somebody's standing there like it was when I was small. So my sister remembers a ghost in our house that we grew up in. We lived there for 22 years, and he would play with the lights and turn them on and off in the basement, which is really funny because if I remember correctly, you had to unscrew the bulbs. Like, you couldn't, there was a light at the top of the staircase, I believe. I don't remember. She'll have to correct me. But there were no switches in the basement. If you wanted one of them to turn on, you had to screw it in. Wow, I can't remember. Maybe there was a switch down at the bottom of the stairs. I don't think so. I remember having to screw the bulbs in and, pull the little chain occasionally. I remember seeing him in the house. There was also a small child there that I never really interacted with. I have to sock bomb the dog. I don't know what she's doing, but I'm pretty sure she's eating one of my blankets. I came prepared with socks. Is that funny? They're new. They're still on that little hook. But, oh, I don't know what she's eating, but stop it. That failed epically. Don't throw like me. Anyway. Oh, I think I just put a hole in my new socks. Oh, Lord. Anyway. So, the next couple of stories are a little bit emotional for me, and I'm gonna try not to cry, but I'm gonna be honest. My dad passed away in 2015, and it was very unexpected. He went in the hospital on Sunday, and on Tuesday he was gone. The lineup of kind of how things happened was really weird. I know you don't care, but I'm gonna tell you anyway, just for some background. He woke up on Sunday and he was hallucinating, and he was seeing people that weren't there and seeing dust and like yelling at my stepmom and stuff. And so she took him, thinking it was some kind of kidney thing, because in older people, he was 76. So in older people, you have to watch that stuff, because hallucinating, sometimes means they have a UTI and they can go septic and die. Anyway, so turns out that he had something going on where his kidneys weren't functioning properly. He was diabetic, uncontrolled. I assume he never did what he was supposed to. Never listened to me as a medical person, but hindsight's 20/20. Anyway, so he was still hallucinating when we got there. I got there on Tuesday. It just so happened that I had the day off. And he kept asking for my brothers. And so I called them. My sister called one and I called the other, and they came up. And I went, they said they would come up, and I went back upstairs and I told my dad, the boys are on their way. And he looks at me and he looks at the clock, and it was almost 4 o'clock, and he said, well, they're cutting it kind of close, aren't they? And I said, you got a hot date? And he said, yeah. And I said, okay, well, don't tell Mom. And he's, started mumbling. I don't remember what he said. I just remember that it was like he knew that he wasn't going to be here with us very much longer. So my brothers came. Everybody talked. We made plans. They were going to move him upstairs to put a port in to help with his dialysis. I was specifically told by that nurse that I did not have to worry yet. That there was that they would probably have to move him to assisted living and hospice care, things like that, but that I could go home and not to worry. So anyway, we took my stepmom home and went to dinner because we hadn't eaten all day, and got a call during dinner that he had taken a turn, that the hospital had called, and before we could get to the car, they called back and said that he was gone. I was not prepared, obviously. How do you prepare for something like that? Now, I know that that's not a ghost story, but, my dad shows himself around here. He, in my old apartment, he had given me a table and chairs, and he had sanded them and oiled them and stained them for me, and when you sat in my living room, you could see this table and chairs, and most often I had the chair closest to the door pulled out. I'd set my purse on it, stuff like that. We didn't really use the table. I was the only one there. Didn't really use the table as a table. Like, I have TV trays and stuff. But my dog would always lay in the entryway and his recliners that he gave me, because when I got out of that previous bad relationship and moved into this apartment, I had no furniture. And he still sits in that chair. Like, there are times when I'll sit in it and it's a leather chair and it's warm. Like, he's been sitting there. It was his chair. He sat in it every single day until he gave it to me because he bought a new one. My house now, I live in a house now, and when you go down in the basement, you can hear him walking around. The only reason that I say that it's him is because when I acknowledge that he's there, it stops. I have sat down there and heard things roll off the counter. I don't have a cat. Dog's always with me. I'm in the basement. She's in the basement. I'll come upstairs and there's nothing on the floor. My mom called me a couple weeks after he died. I don't remember exactly. And she said, and I'm gonna reveal my name here, but she said, "Shannon, tell your dad to get out of my room." And I said, "Mom, what are you talking about?" And she said, "I keep going to sleep and I keep waking up because your dad is in my room. Tell him to get out of my room." And I said, "Mom, why are you asking me?" And she said, "You're the one that's connected to all this stuff. Because I told you, I've always been on the paranormal side of things." She said, "Get your dad out of my bedroom." And I said, "Mom, if you don't want him in there, just tell him to get out. You've been divorced 26 years, tell him to go away." Apparently, he showed up in her bedroom a couple of times. She didn't like it very much. I wouldn't want my ex-husband in my room either. Some people may not take that as a paranormal story. You could just say that it's grief. But it's so weird because there have only been a couple of times. Like, I know he's here. He was in my apartment, and I was afraid when I moved because he'd never seen this house, that he wouldn't be here, but he is. And maybe he's just with me because I have experienced him in other avenues. I felt him so strongly when we went to see Phantom of the Opera, which was his favorite show, that it was like he was in the room. Maybe that's grief. Maybe it's something else. But, so those are really my paranormal stories. Sorry, dog. Can't get through one video. Almost made it. I know they're not very spooky, and, you probably didn't get any creepy crawlies from it or anything like that, but, yeah, I would never live in that house again. Oh, I do have another one. So, I live, as we've discussed, outside of St. Louis, and I am near Alton. And if you know anything about Alton, you know that, I don't even know why I thought of this, that Alton is a very haunted town. And you also know that, well, maybe you do, maybe you don't, Troy Taylor does haunted tours of Alton. So, right after my dad passed away, we did one of these haunted tours, and it's a walking tour. So you go and you get to go past, like the Mineral Springs Hotel, and you stand in an Underground Railroad passage that was really creepy because they take you down there and they tell you all the stories of the Underground Railroad, and then they turn off the lights and leave you standing in there because that's how the slaves were. There were no lights. They had to be hidden. And it's, pretty. I was like, okay, we're not doing this. I did take a couple of pictures down there and got some orbs in them. I'm computer dumb and I don't know how to put pictures in my videos, but I would show you if I could. himself from the rafters in the back room behind the, I don't know anything about churches, pulpit. In one of the rooms where the regular work is done, office rooms or whatever. I wasn't paying that much attention. I wanted out of there. So I'm standing there with my coworker, and I look over at her, and I felt something brush past me, like on my shoulder, and I looked at her, and I was like, "Did you feel that?" And she said, "Yeah." I said, "Okay." There was no one behind us. Storyteller's still talking. I was like, "We've got to get out of here, like right now." And she was like, "Yep, I'm in. Let's go, let's go." So we were done. The door was to our left, and we went. I never, ever, ever, no, I'm not doing that again. I don't get creeped out easily. That scared the crap out of me. Something touched me in that church. Whether it was the guy who hung himself, the caretaker, whatever, no. Not doing it ever again. We also, I guess my bosses were, I keep playing with these socks, sorry, were in a Halloween mood. At that point, we went to the Lemp mansion for a office dinner, well, tour. We did a tour. We didn't have dinner. Whatever. My boss at the time thought he was really funny, and he almost got punched in the face because he jumped out at me from a little alcove. I wanted to do a whole video on the Lemp mansion, but I could only find 2 friends that had stories of stuff that happened there. I took lots of pictures because I'm always looking for orbs, and I'd never been inside before. It's a beautiful house. It had more rooms that, I was not expecting. There's 3 floors and then a basement, and it has the wedding venue, and I was not expecting all of that. I didn't really get a sense of anything while I was there. It was 8 days after my dad passed away, November 19th or something like that. So yeah, not very long afterwards. I don't know why that matters, but I was still pretty numb, yeah, that's how you get. And so I don't think I was kind of picking up on things the way that I could have been. I would love to go back and stay the night. I want to stay in the lavender suite because I remember distinctly that it was the room I caught the most mild vibes that I did get from there. And I also don't want to be connected to the nursery because that's where they say there's a portal. I don't want to be near the portal. Anyway, so the 2 friends stories that I have, they're just really, really short, so I'm gonna finish up with those and then I'm gonna stop yammering at you. So my best friend stayed at the Lemp mansion before I was old enough to do it, which really, made it 21 and up. It really sucked. I was really bummed. I'm old enough now. Anybody want to go with me? And she was in the William Lemp suite, which is where the peekaboo ghost is, where you can catch his picture in the mirror alongside the bed. He shows up and he's laying on the bed. I have pictures of that mirror, and you can Google it if you're curious, but she was on one of the couches trying to sleep, and she said herself, and I love her and she'll never watch this, but said that she's a giant weenie. So she was rolled over towards the back of the couch with the blanket up over her head, and she said everybody else was asleep, and she heard this low moaning kind of, and she felt this breath on the back, moving her hair, and she said that she rolled over and sat up really fast, and of course there wasn't anything there, and she said that she did not sleep a wink the rest of the night, and I totally understand, because I wouldn't either. forgive me. She doesn't watch these either, doesn't matter. And she said that her friend got a phone call while they were there from her deceased ex-boyfriend's phone. No voicemail. Nobody there when she picked it up. But the caller ID said it was him. I thought that was kind of creepy. I don't know if I would have answered, but I'm right there with my bestie. I'm kind of a giant weenie sometimes, so let me know what you think. I really want to know what kind of videos you guys want to see. Obviously, after Halloween, that's the word I'm looking for, is over, then I probably won't do many paranormal stories. I think I still have couple, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 left that I still want to do that I'm hopefully gonna get done. They're not all paranormal stories, but they're like true crimes that happened on or near Halloween and paranormal stories. So if this isn't your bag, if you even watched this all the way, thanks for sticking with me. Please like and comment below what you want to see. If you have case ideas for true crimes, if you have a paranormal story that I can add to my not so paranormal story, it was spooky. I guess they weren't really spooky, sorry guys. I will see you soon.